All right, I will finish calling the meeting to order at 6:42. I guess I had called. But anyway, we have a quorum with all members present, with the exception of Commissioner Wickland. Commissioner Flynn Post is joining us hybrid. We are having audio difficulties, technology difficulties this evening, and so we will not be able to record all of the audio. The first item is to approve the minutes from January 27th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
So approve, or motion approve. Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Kleen, seconded by Commissioner Pollock. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Hey, did you have any comments on the minutes? Sorry. There you go. Okay, she can hear.
Item 3, further discussion and possible recommendation of an ordinance to eliminate the prohibition of bedrooms in basements within Chapter 326, Housing and Property Standards of the Village Code. This comes to us from ourselves. This is the final, we have approved this, and this is the draft before us that, if recommended, will go to the village board, or will go to the village board with a recommendation. We can do a brief overview, take any public comments, well, which we may not be able to do.
We do have someone in the audience, so possibly.
Oh.
Yep.
And then we will discuss and take a vote on recommendation. So Director Griepenjag, so you don't have to go through everything, but just kind of recap where we help.
So just a brief overview on this one. One of the more unique aspects of the Village of Shorewood code is that we don't allow bedrooms in basements. We found no other codes that have such a similar prohibition. The safety and life of issues associated with that would be covered by building code issues, not the zoning code. And so within previous discussion, the Plan Commission has asked staff to provide a draft ordinance to remove that prohibition. This one is quite simple. The draft is in your packet. It would simply remove section 326.7 from the code. And once again, any life safety issues regarding bedrooms and basements would be covered by building and fire codes.
All right, at this time I will take public comment. You're not here for that. Okay. And okay. Yeah. We're closing public comments, and at this time we'll take discussion or a motion to recommend.
I move to recommend ordinance 3080.
Second. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Motion by Commissioner Pollock, seconded by Trustee McGovern. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the recommendation as presented say aye, or give me a thumbs up. Aye. Okay, aye. Nay. All right, motion is this ordinance will go forward as written with the recommendation to the village board to approve or to adopt. Item 4, further discussion and possible recommendation of an ordinance to modify the definition of household within Chapter 535 zoning and to create consistency of its use throughout the village code. Director Griepenjag.
So once again, the Plan Commission has discussed this over various meetings throughout 2025. There's 2 issues at hand here. The first one that has been discussed and debated is the number of unrelated adults that is currently allowed to live within a dwelling unit in Shorewood is 3. The recommendation of the Plan Commission based on previous direction was to up that to 4. There's various versions throughout the state of where that number lies, but the Plan Commission had previously directed staff to provide a version with 4. And then secondarily, as you'll see, this ordinance is quite lengthy in its draft form. So in the previous commercial zoning update, we did our best to remove the word family and replace with household throughout the code. This would kind of finalize that step because we didn't go the full way. So the first issue is whether or not the Plan Commission would recommend the draft form, updating it to 4 people and including adoption, marriage, civil unions, domestic partnership, and legal guardianship. And then secondarily, the remainder of that lengthy ordinance would replace the word family or update the word household or term to be consistent throughout, so there's no ambiguity within the code.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any public comments on this item? All right, hearing none, I'll move to the Plan Commission. Any discussion or a motion to recommend?
Question, Bart. I noticed in the ordinance, there were a lot of revisions of adding multifamily units, single family. And I wasn't sure what that had to do with the definition of household.
So it's removing the word family from the code. So rather than saying multifamily dwelling unit, it's a multi-unit residential building. And so because we no longer have a definition of family, multifamily didn't make sense within the code. So once again, it's a messy, large cleanup of getting rid of that term because that term is no longer used or defined.
Okay, so it's housekeeping related to the house family versus house change. Okay.
Yep, so it's a multi-unit residential building rather than a multi-family development.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to recommend?
I can do this one. All right. I move to recommend ordinance 3081, an ordinance to modify the definition of household within chapter 535 zoning and to create consistency of its use throughout the village code as drafted.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Klein, seconded by Commissioner Swain. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And against?
That's got three.
She's got 3 ayes on there, so that was an
All
aye.
right.
Kate?
Then
Yep.
the drafted ordinance will go to the village board with a unanimous recommendation from the Plan Commission. The final ordinance for us to consider this evening is further discussion and possible recommendation of an ordinance to permit accessory dwelling units within R1 through R6 residential zoning districts of Chapter 535 zoning of the Village Code. Director Friedenshaw.
Thank you, President McKeag. This is a more detailed update, but the Plan Commission has discussed this over various meetings within 2025, and then we did a survey on the discussion as well, or the topic, I should say. And then at last meeting, we did go over various regulations within what a potential draft might look like. Based on the discussion, the draft before you does include various regulations, and I'll just go through them real briefly. So accessory dwelling units would be allowed as an accessory use within R1 through R6 residential zoning districts. 1 ADU would be allowed per lot. The types of ADUs would be internal, attached, or detached. The size would not to exceed the gross floor area of the principal dwelling unit. Lot coverage and setbacks would be defined per district, so no changes there. The height would be limited not to exceed 20 feet if attached as measured from the grade to the peak of the roof. Design would be reviewed by our design review board upon any exterior change. No parking would be required with the inclusion of accessory dwelling unit. Short-term rentals would be clarified that they are prohibited under 7 days, and owner occupancy would be required at the time of creation. So the draft before you has those general regulations within it, and that was what staff was directed to provide at the last meeting.
Thank you, Director. Is there any public comment this evening on this?
This is me.
All right, it's your turn. Oh, if we don't have a microphone.
Yeah, so
Talk loudly.
I can speak up. Hi, I'm Jordan, live on Prospect.
Yeah, just give your name, your full name and your address.
Okay, Jordan Haas, I live at 4124 North Prospect. I just read Bob Putnam's Bowling Alone and had a sudden urge for civic engagement, so here I am. At the same time, it's funny this came up. I was just thinking about ADUs. I moved here from Seattle a few years ago with my fiance who's from Milwaukee. My parents live in Eastern Washington, 1,800 miles away. They can't afford a second house in Wisconsin. An ADU would be wonderful to be able to have them for more than a long weekend. the previous minutes, it sounds like everything's kind of been discussed, sounds great. Only other comment is I love that Shorewood does have generally less on-street parking. So it would be great to have parking required with ADUs, but not a game killer for me. So sounds like the discussion was generally for ADUs, which would be my desire as well. So thank you.
Thank you for coming, and I don't know what that book is, but I'm glad it inspired you. Okay. So closing public comment at this time, I'll take it to the planning commission, discussion or a motion to recommend.
I move to recommend ordinance 3082, an ordinance to permit accessory dwelling units within the R1 through R6 residential zoning districts of chapter 535 zoning of the village code as drafted.
Motion by trustee McGovern, seconded by, I think, Commissioner Klein. Any discussion?
I'll just add that I'm really excited about this. I think this is a great step for Shorewood. It's always, I think, a good step when you can make it easier for people who live here to provide more options for their families. Like the gentleman here who came to speak in support of it. It could be a family that wants to have a aging parent move in with them, and this just gives people more options to provide a home for someone in their family or somebody else. And I'm looking forward to the discussion at the village board level.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye too. Okay. Any against? Motion carried unanimously. I'm so happy. I can't believe we just did that. That's really great. I will say we're gonna need support at the village board for this, because if you think about how many times we've talked about this and how long it takes to wrap your head around it and what it means and what it doesn't mean, the village board will attempt to do that in one evening. That is not easy to do. So I'm sure trustee McGovern and I can speak for both of us that we would welcome any participation and input. All right, item 6, discussion and consideration of 2025 Planning Commission annual report and future initiatives. I believe we have one very eager commissioner who submitted 3 initiatives for which I'm very thankful. So this is largely procedural, so we will bring up each one, ask Commissioner Pollack to summarize it, and then we're really looking for a thumbs up, thumbs down from the commission about advancing to the village manager, who then makes a determination of what. All right. So I could say just go in order.
Okay. Our comprehensive plan says that we should have a 5-year review time in the life cycle of the plan. It seemed like a good time to reflect on what's working, what's not, and then adjust accordingly.
All
No,
those.
that's more complicated.
So this would probably happen naturally without a initiative. The value that I see is that it communicates to the village board that this is a priority, so that we don't get overwhelmed with things on the plate. So I think that I would certainly support this, and would invite my colleagues to weigh in. Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right, do we need an official motion?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
Number 2. Oh, okay. Commissioner Flynn Post, is there anything you'd like to add? Oh, you said yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Number 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was hoping that we might spend a little more time looking for zoning changes that might improve housing capacity. Based on the feedback that we've gotten from stakeholders, it seems like adding density to new areas in the village comes with a large amount of the concern and pushback.
Mhm.
But there are areas that already have a fair bit of density that could be upzoned. And I don't think we took that lens the last time. I'm looking specifically at like the R8 district and stuff like that. So it could be worth
Mhm.
a little more creative thinking.
I like that idea. I'd be happy to engage with that. Anyone else?
But just, I guess for my purposes, our current housing opportunities initiative is on the table. The board has already allowed us to work on that. I don't see this as different than that. And so, if there's a specific request that would qualify under the current initiative, I think the plan commission could discuss that at any time without having it be reassigned. Because we did also leave duplexes on the table for when we finish the first three things. And so, if the plan commission would like to pursue additional housing things beyond duplexes, I do think that you have the current leash to do so.
I would recommend that we take that route, so as to not tax the village board with a decision around one specific aspect of housing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just encourage you, Josh, maybe we can work together on maybe fleshing out more specifically what we could discuss at a future meeting. But yeah, I think that's an opportunity. It's already available for us on the agenda. Yep.
And it's not like a housing initiative. That initiative would sunset, on a calendar year.
No, correct.
Wonderful. And your third.
That's my personal favorite. It's my new accessory dwelling unit. Decision criteria for zoning petitions. So I think we got confronted with a couple of zoning petitions since the commercial update, and the standards are a little unclear. And I would love to bring more clarity to kind of that process. So we, based on my reading, we have the discretion to create some standards, and so that's my help.
Other interests, support,
Thumbs up.
thumbs up? Yeah. Okay. And what are the next steps regarding duplexes? We're just gonna come back with our housing initiative in 2026, but that could be this year.
Right. So the direction that I understood was to move these three. So when the board, if and when the board acts on these three, then I can come back. But to your point, if the board takes multiple meetings to act on these three, I don't want to be in the middle of that stuff. So I will take the next board opportunity to get those three. When that is done, I'll bring back that to get more direction from you and possibly add additional opportunities as discussed with Josh.
Right. Any other questions or discussions about ththose things? Yeah. Oh,
I did want to confirm whether or not the plan commission wanted to keep on the previously identified initiatives of reviewing reviewing, updating home occupations and reviewing, updating notice requirements. So I have thumbs up on the two that Josh said. I just want to see if there's thumbs up on those two as well.
I'm interested in keeping those
No final
in there
list.
at the bottom of the list.
There really is no order because once again, I'll submit all four to the village manager. She'll review in conjunction with work plans and budget and other things, and then she'll take that to the board. So there is no priority. I'll just submit all four if that's the direction that you'd like me to proceed with.
Is there a strong feeling of taking it off or sidelining it for a year?
Yeah, like the notice one seems like the least. I don't know. I'm trying to think if we're gonna take people's attention up, I'd like to focus on things that might potentially help with some of the comprehensive plan objectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quite sure how the last two items do that. And if we can't do priority, then people's attention on it.
But there,
It doesn't seem like either or.
other positions? I favor the notice item. All right. It sounds like there's not a strong will to make a recommendation to remove anything. I'm not
Yes.
hearing the majority. Okay. Future agenda items.
Sorry, with that being said, I did realize I do have a motion in there. So now that we have the four as submitted, I would entertain a motion and a vote just to confirm that those four are what we're moving forward with. So there's a suggestion in the packet if someone is willing to provide it.
I move to motion the Plan Commission 2025 annual report and future initiatives as drafted.
As discussed. Yep. Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Pollak, seconded by Commissioner Kling. Any discussion?
I do have a question actually on the initiative on the standards for reviewing proposed changes to the updated zoning plan, or am I characterizing that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. You know, we get a number, this is more a question for Bart. We've had a couple different things come up. People have asked for exemptions or changes. Is that just kind of standard for a village the size of Shorewood, or does that seem like an unusually high number of requests for changes that we've had?
It's a standard process, and I don't think I would say that we're probably actually lower than I might have anticipated on. I mean, the scale of the change that we adopted in 2023 to only have the two that really, to my knowledge, I remember it came through. I think that's a sign of a good redraft. Yeah, I think it's to be expected, and I think that we're actually doing quite well. With respect to making additional criteria or things like that, I'll definitely reference the village attorney on that. I know in the past he's opined that I think those are legislative decisions as opposed to certain like criteria. So the only other criteria that I'm fully familiar with other communities having, and it's definitely not a requirement. The league and or maybe just the league has opined that you don't have to have consistency with your comprehensive plan, but you may choose to include that in your code. So I know Milwaukee has that in their code. We currently don't. And then consistency is also further defined as furthers, but it's not necessarily a regulation. So I'm happy to continue to research this, and if there's other specific criteria that we're looking for, we can develop that as well. But to answer your question, trustee McGovern, I think we're doing well with the number that we've received. I thought we would have received more, quite honestly, just because it was a big change for a lot of people. And if the commission and the board needs further criteria to do so, we'd be happy to look at what that might look like.
Yep.
Great. Future agenda items?
I don't think we had a vote on
We did
it.
not
Yep.
vote, sorry. All those in favor of the motion as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Great, motion carries unanimously. Future agenda items?
The Conservation Committee has been working on a draft to update natural landscape regulations. Within those regulations, the village's vision setback area is discussed. That setback area is within the zoning code, and so in order for the board to be able to adopt any change in the zoning chapter, the Plan Commission would also have to first provide a recommendation. So assuming we have a meeting in March, I will probably be giving you a draft of what that could look like. I've worked with the building inspector and the village attorney, as well as the Parks and Public Spaces Committee, on drafting what that could look like in terms of something that's more easily to enforce, because right now it's written so poorly that it actually never really applies. And so we just like to make sure that it's applicable and contextual to the village. So we looked at a bunch of stuff. Short answer is I'll likely have a draft to introduce to you in March or our next meeting, at which point in the subsequent meeting, we'd be looking for a recommendation on that. Beyond that, once again, when the other housing opportunities come up and or any applications are received, we will let you know.
Sounds good. Motion to adjourn? Great. Any objections? We stand adjourned at 7:06. Thank you for your 36 minutes.
All right. Thanks, Kate. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
I don't think it was it might have been record
For,
votes, yeah.
yeah.
What's wrong here?